Hey guys, welcome. It is Monday night and that means it's time for Let's Talk About. And if you're sitting there and you're a teenager, or you're the parent of a teenager, or you're the teacher of a teenager, or you know a teenager, or you can even spell teenager, then tonight is absolutely for you.
What if I can't?
If you can't, then blame your teacher. They haven't done a good job. Okay, let me just roll the music. Come on, get into it.
I'm the boring one.
What are we going to say?
Let's talk about teenagers, baby.
Here we go. Ready?
At least teenagers might know.
Welcome to everyone. It's good to see people tuning in. Let's talk about teenagers. Let's talk about you.
And me. Let's talk about all the good things.
Did you have a good time when you were a teenager? Yeah, you did.
Let's talk about teenagers.
Teenagers. Let's talk about teenagers. Teenagers. Let's talk about teenagers.
Right.
All right. Now, do you want me to start?
Sure.
Okay, so...
Jeremy's leading it today because he said that he knew more about teenagers than I do because he's had them, he's taught them, he's been a youth worker, he thinks he's far more qualified. Whereas
You've
I
just
don't
been
even
one.
have any. I'm too young.
Don't worry. Teenagers are like the ticking time bomb in your household. And if there's anyone out there who has teenagers, you know what I'm talking about. But we did want to talk about teenagers, and there's a few reasons for that. One is that we actually have some teenagers I know who watch this video podcast. What is it? Facebook Live. They watch it. So hello, guys and girls. But also,
it's the end of the year.
It is the end of the year, and if there was a time when life gets stressful, it's definitely now, and especially if you have teens, right? Although, I have to say, after working with teens for most of my working life, as Kim said, youth worker, school teacher, and still teaching, I actually think it's pretty tough being a teenager. So, teenagers have my sympathy. What
about the parents of teenagers? They have my sympathy.
Well, and that's the thing. There's a lot happening. It is quite a stressful time. Like when you think about all the changes that are happening in a teenager's life. So there's all the physical stuff that's happening, and that's a challenge in itself. I think there's the transition from being a kid to being an adult. There's all the expectations which are actually quite confusing. You don't know whether you're supposed to be a kid, whether you're supposed to be an adult. Sometimes you want to be an adult, sometimes you don't. There's all those things. Plus, you've got a lot of stress, especially as you get older as a teenager. Everything ramps up as far as education goes. So there's a lot happening. At the same time, when it comes to parents, the task of a teenager developmentally is to break away and become their own person, and that's not an easy thing to do either. So, as you said, for parents of teenagers, that can be pretty tough. For teenagers themselves, I think it can be a pretty difficult time, even for teachers of teenagers, because we have to deal with some of that stuff in the classroom. So tonight, we want to think about, okay, how can we actually help our teens navigate some of this stuff? And we want to talk about some particular products from Young Living, which I think are really helpful. So, do you want to kick us off? Can we talk stress away? Let's start with that.
Did we get stress away out?
Oh, yes we do. Oh, isn't that stress away right there?
Oh, you got it in a roll-on. Okay.
Yep, I got the stress away roll-on, which comes to school with me every day. But talk stress away to me, because you're the guru of all things oily.
So there's a couple of key ingredients that are really calming in stress away. So lavender is one of them, okay?
I'm just going to open it up and
it doesn't smell like lavender though, okay? So if you're one of those people out there that's going, oh, I don't like lavender, it doesn't smell like lavender.
Vanilla.
It smells like vanilla and lime, and it has that little bit of cinnamon which comes from the ocotea, and then it's got some copaiba. So it's very, very calming. In the roll-on, it's already diluted, so ready to roll on your wrist, behind your ears, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Great for exam time. So if you've got a teenager in your house and they're coming up to exams, the end of year, all that kind of stuff, then...
Don't roll it on them, roll it on yourself.
Well, you can be a human diffuser. So if you don't, if your child doesn't like oils, then you can wear them and they will automatically smell them. Diffusing stress away in your house can actually help to calm everything down a little bit. I know that my house is pretty hectic in the mornings. And so, having the peace and calming or the stress away, diffusing in the morning is definitely a winner in our house. So great for teenagers. They can pop it in their school bag or, roll it on before they go to school, roll it on, emotions are so high at this time of the year. Parents have got Christmas leading up. There's all of the stress of that. The kids have got exams. They're worried about the end of year. Everyone's just tired at this time of the year. So stress away is really good for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. It's awesome. I've taken that to school with me at a bunch of schools that I've worked at. Big favourite
with the teachers.
With the teachers, especially in the English department in a school just near where we live. So that's a good one, stress away. Now, we can also ramp it up because there's a couple of things that we can use for that kind of stress away, peace and calming. There's a segue into another one, which is actually the blend is called Peace and Calming. And it smells quite different, doesn't it?
Yeah, I actually really like this one. Yeah. Peace and Calming and Valor were like my first favourite oils. I use them a lot, particularly when Tegan was feeling a little bit anxious about going to school and about going away from mum and all that kind of stuff. So we used a lot of Peace and Calming. It's a beautiful smelling blend, very citrusy with the tangerine, orange, ylang-ylang, blue tansy, and some patchouli. The patchouli isn't very strong, but it's quite grounding to the oil. So this one, once again, in the roll-on is already diluted, so great for your teenagers because they're time poor. They don't want to be worrying about having to mix up a roller bottle or something like that. So you can just give them that Peace and Calming roll-on. They can roll it on before exams, roll it on before they go to their formal maybe, all those kind of big events. It just helps with calming. I know on the weekend we did a Live Your Passion rally and Sharon and Julie both told testimonials about peace and calming and how it had helped with various situations where everyone was feeling a bit anxious.
I was going to say, I look back on my teenage years and I had a pretty cruisy run in a sense. I didn't have any major crises, but boy, I can think of just so many times when I was anxious about stuff, whether that was things that were happening at school, dates with girls, all that kind of stuff. This is designed specifically for those times to help take away some of the nerves and the feelings of anxiousness.
And you can get Peace and Calming in a bottle and diffuser, but at the moment the roller comes in the Christmas catalogue in this cute little bag with a lip balm. Teenagers, they go through so much of this stuff and I see it. And they're putting it on their lips every 10 minutes.
And what's wrong with that with most?
It's full of chemicals, the lip balms that they're using. They've got this sweet smelling fragrance and stuff and it's so they're licking it off their lips all the time, and the thing is that it's actually drying their lips out, so they need to use it more and more and more. Whereas this is the cinnamon one and it comes in this little kit. So what better to give your teenager the Peace and Calming, the little thing to keep their stress away, their Peace and Calming, their Tranquil, whatever other roll-ons you give them, their lip balm, all that kind of stuff in the one packet. So anyway, I'm a big fan of that.
And let me tell you,
it's a great man bag.
I was going to say, the guys will love this. I can see them at footy training and stuff. They'll be getting, anyone need some stress away?
Yeah, they'll be getting it out of
dry lips, anyone? Yeah. I don't think so. But it is a very cute little thing. Now, speaking of anxiousness, how did you go with exams? When it came exam time, were you cool and collected? Or?
Well, we had this conversation earlier because Jeremy was saying, teenagers need help with sleep. And I said, no, they don't. Yeah, when I was a teenager, I needed help to stay awake because I had to cram for my exams. I was always one of those people who left it to the last minute and crammed. And
likewise.
So,
it's amazing what you can... And don't do this at home, kids. Okay.
Start studying now, not the night before.
Because
learn from our mistakes.
That was actually very stress-inducing to have to try and get it all done. But there is definitely a place for stuff that helps your concentration, that does help you stay mentally alert. Those things are really important.
There's a lot of research around about how things like smell and colour can actually impact a lot on your ability to remember things.
Yep.
So when I was studying, both at school and then later on at uni, I used to write in particular colour pens. So I'd write some things in purple and some things in blue and some things in red and all that. I had all these different colour pens because that way I would associate in my brain with the different colours. And the same goes for smell. So they reckon
Possibly even more powerful.
that if you diffuse things like lemon, rosemary, peppermint, and the blends that we're talking about today for focus and concentration and things like that while you're studying, and even if you were to use them during or before the exam, if you're not allowed to take your essential oils into the exam, it can actually help with the memory recall as well. So
let's talk about a couple of blends which I reckon are fantastic.
Omega?
Yeah. Yep. Now I'll give you my favourites first because in the past, and I wish I'd known this stuff when I was younger and I could use it. But this one in particular, which I don't...
Oh, it's going
to be backwards, but it's called Clarity. And that is exactly what it does. I've used this heaps and heaps when I've been working, when I've been preparing talks. Any time that I need that mental sharpness, extra mental sharpness, Clarity is my go-to. I actually just get a drop and dab it behind the ear, which sounds crazy, but it seriously works for me. So that's a great one.
And if you're a mum with brain fog and you've got to help your teenagers with their trigonometry and chemistry and all of those kinds of things, then you need some clarity as well.
Now, clarity
about getting a tutor.
Yeah, that's good investment. Always a good investment. But clarity it's really interesting. It has kind of a sharpish smell, I find.
It's the basil.
Yeah,
it smells a lot like basil.
It's got, I'll just read them out. It's got bergamot, which is ideal for feelings of anxiousness, relieving those and feelings of stress. It's got ylang ylang, which I can't really smell that much at all in here. But again, awesome for relaxing, for confidence, for giving you joy. Basil, as you said, cardamom, and rosemary is the other powerful thing, and there's which stimulates your memory recall. So that's good. And then the other one is what?
The other one's peppermint. But I was actually going to say about rosemary before we get to peppermint. I mean, there's a Shakespearean play, and they say that it comes from Shakespeare that rosemary is for remembrance.
Oh, okay.
It's from Hamlet, I'm pretty sure.
I did not realise that was what they were talking about.
No, is it Hamlet or... I think Ophelia says it. Is Ophelia in Hamlet? You're the English teacher.
She is in Hamlet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's what it's from. And so it actually helps with remembering. And that's why we use rosemary on Anzac Day to remember things. So if you've got a teenager and you want to help them to remember things, then, and this month you can actually get rosemary for free. I think it's with the 320 PV. Someone might look it up for me because I can't remember, but rosemary's in Clarity. Okay.
And just one other thing, just quickly, because I found this interesting. University of Cincinnati did a study and they discovered that peppermint essential oil actually gave people a 28% boost in mental accuracy. So that was students that they studied, 28%. That's pretty phenomenal. So
imagine some rosemary and peppermint and basil together.
So this is the ideal blend of those things. Clarity. Just quickly, we weren't going to talk about this, but I often combine that with energy, which is another great blend.
Gives you energy.
It does. It gives you energy.
So if you're cramming for exams, like I was.
But early morning.
Better than V and Red Bull.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly right. These things don't have after effects. They're pure. They're natural. All that stuff. That's a great combination. I use
Pop it in the diffuser. Yeah. Make it in a roller bottle.
If you can't get clarity, then here's
and my favourite is brain power.
Yeah.
Okay, brain power is full of all those really heavy, high in sesquiterpene oils. So the ones that if you want to know more about brain power, watch any of the ones we've done for the brain, because this is high in your cedarwood, sandalwood, melissa, frankincense, all of those. That's why it's a little bit pricier, but you don't need very much, like one drop of brain power. It's got helichrysum, lavender, and blue cypress. So it's very, very high in sesquiterpenes, able to work on the brain, help you focus, help you concentrate, and remember all that stuff that you have to remember for exams.
Absolutely. if you have a look at my video on the oils of ancient scripture, actually cedarwood comes up in that. Interestingly, King Solomon, who was considered the wisest person, he built his temple out of cedarwood. So that cedarwood smell, 95% sesquiterpenes, would have been all around him. It really is fantastic for stimulating the old brain power.
And Brooke has just said that she drinks ninja for energy as well, which is so true. And not only that, but for boosting, health and vitality and all that kind of stuff. So that, there's nothing worse than feeling run down and lacking energy when you've got to, cram for exams and sit in a room full of other people who are, breathing all over you. So drink ninja.
Yep, it's very true. And I guess that's the thing. It is stressful being a teenager, and obviously it can be stressful being a parent of a teenager, but there's lots of practical things that you can do to actually help. And obviously using some of these, things like talking, communicating, being understanding, all that kind of stuff, I think is obviously important. But these little things can also really help the whole process. So hang in there, guys. If you've got exams and you're worried about all of that,
good luck.
Get some of this here. Good luck, and don't be afraid to talk to your parents. They actually know more than you think they do. That was something I realised when I was 30. Who knew?
50 years ago.
Yes, that's right. 50 years ago. Alrighty, you guys. Have a great time. Any comments? Put them down below, and we will see you next week.
Good night, guys.
See ya.